Surrounded by illusions and reality, many potential talents fade away, fade into nothingness. Reality stands on the action. The future stands on the action. If we keep building palaces in the air without facing reality, then this gap between reality and fantasy is enough to disturb our peace of mind. The king of a kingdom used to travel around the city on the back of an elephant every day. The elephant was very beautiful and strong. Whenever the elephant came out, many people in the city thronged to see it. The king also enjoyed that. Suddenly, one day, such an incident happened that the king lost all his happiness. One day, when the king was traveling around the city on the back of an elephant, suddenly a beggar came from behind and pulled the elephant's tail. The elephant tried hard to move forward, but could not move forward at all. Everyone was surprised to see this. That young beggar had such power that the elephant could not move even a bit. No one has ever seen such an event before. The king was also very nervous. The king was ashamed. He felt that all his dignity had been destroyed by the incident. He thought that such was the power of this beggar that trapped his elephant. For a long time, the beggar held the elephant's tail, and the elephant could not move. When the beggar was satisfied, he let go of its tail and the elephant walked on. But by then the king was disheartened. The king went back to the palace, but he remained of a different mind. He always wondered, what power did that beggar have to stop a huge elephant? Seeing this state of the king, the minister said to him, "O my king, today was a bad day for you." The astrologer said, "O king, today your luck was not right. This is why this thing happened. This will never happen again." After hearing everyone's words, the king also relaxed a little. But this incident kept repeating itself. Whenever the king went on a trip to the city on the elephant's back, the beggar would come and play with the elephant's tail. He would pull the elephant's tail, and the elephant would not move at all. And whenever such an incident happened, the king was very ashamed. Gradually, the king did not go out in shame. Seeing no way out, the king called a meeting. The king called all his counselors and asked for advice. Everyone tried different ways, but none of them worked. Finally, the king became very worried. This news went beyond the palace too. When all the people in the kingdom came to know about this incident, suddenly one day a stranger came and wanted to advise the king. He said to the king, "Your Majesty, my name is Bhargav. If I give you a piece of advice, will you take it?" All the ministers and counselors said to the king, "When our advice has not worked, what will this poor old man's words do?" Then Bhargav said to the king, "Your Majesty, listen to me." The king said, "Well, when the advice of others do not work, let's listen to him once." Then the king said to the old man, "Okay, Tell me what you want to suggest. Bhargav said to the king, Tomorrow morning, you will call that baker and tell him that you want to give him a job, and for that, he will get 1 silver coin every day. Then tell him to go to the temple every evening and light 1 lamp. The king did not believe the man. In fact, the person was quite ordinary and had no charm in his appearance. But even if the king could not trust him, the king had no choice. The next day, the king sent the baker a message and conveyed the news to him. The baker was very happy. The baker thought, every day I have to bake very hard to fill my stomach somehow. It is good that I will get 1 coin every day from now on, so my days will pass well. 1 silver coin was worth a lot at that time. A month's expenses would have been managed easily. The baker thought, it is good that I sit in the temple all day and beg, and from now on, every day, I have to light only 1 lamp. I can do this easily. Thinking this, the baker agreed. The baker then said to the king, Don't worry, my king, this will be done. After some time, Bhargav came to the king and said, Your Majesty, now you go out on the back of the elephant. The king then said, What if I go out again, and that baker pulls the elephant by the tail again? Bhargav said to the king, Don't worry, my lord, just do what I say. The king still could not believe him, but there was no other way. So the king was forced to go out on the back of the elephant the next day. The king was very worried. Again and again, he felt that he would be dishonored again. He will be ashamed again as before. When the elephant went out on the road, the baker came and pulled the elephant's tail again. But the surprising thing is that this time he could not hold the elephant. The elephant kicked him and moved on. The baker then fell to the ground. As he fell to the ground, his arms and legs were scratched. Seeing this, the king was shocked. The king began to think, what happened? How was this possible? What made the elephant suddenly do that? The elephant is the same, the baker is the same, and the road is the same. So where is the difference? The king did not know what to do and what not to do this time. He hurried back to the palace and paced restlessly. Then he sent for Bhargav with a guard. As soon as Bhargav arrived, the king hurried to him and said, How did you do this? Do you have such power that this happened? Do you know any occult knowledge? Hearing this, Bhargav said to the king, There is no mystery in this. You should sit quietly first. After the king sat down, Bhargav said, I have done nothing. In fact, the beggar had no worries or turmoil in his mind before. That was his only strength. But we took away that peace from him with a single coin. The king said, How is that? Bhargav said to the king, Now every day that beggar is very worried. He keeps looking at the time all day long. He keeps thinking, Isn't it evening? Will I be able to light the lamp in the temple at the right time? He never knew the time before. He used to live a happy life. He had no worries in his mind. But now he can't sleep peacefully even at night. He keeps thinking, how much money will I get? What do I do with that money? With one silver coin, the whole month's expenses are covered. Then what will I do with the remaining 29 coins? He kept counting the money repeatedly and thinking, if I can save 29 coins in 1 month, how much money can I save in 1 year? Then I don't know how much money I will accumulate in the next 10 years. Then what do I do with that money? That money should be put to good use. Thinking all this, his days pass. He can no longer lead a peaceful life like before. He starts imagining absurd things. He starts having various dreams and fantasies. Slowly, he is surrounded by the waves of fantasy, dreams, and reality. Caught up in it, thus, anxiety creeps into his peaceful life. Saying this, Bhargav took the leave of the king and left. From the moment Bhargav left, the king became jealous of that person. The king thought, how can any man be so intelligent? But in reality, this can happen. A beggar can pull the tail of an elephant. A king can envy an old commoner, and a common old man can advise a king. Nothing is impossible in the world. But if a person wants to be successful, then he has to get out of that web of dreams, fantasy, and reality. Friends, all future actions are based on today's actions. As you sow, so will you reap in the future. You must prepare now for what you think you will do in the future. Tomorrow is built on today. If you do nothing today, then what you think you will do tomorrow is just an illusion. That imagine can only give you anxiety and despair. It can never fulfill your dream if it is not based on reality. Dreaming is one thing and fantasy is another. Only people get lost in mirages when they chase illusions. Friends, tell us what you learned from today's episode in the comment box. Share the video with the people you know. Stay well. Thank you very much.